Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good morning if you're in, Thailand, I think. It's probably morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're great. Happy Thursday. Hope you've had a great week. I didn't do content this Monday because I was wrapped up in some shit, so I figured I'd throw in a live stream later on in the week. A couple things to talk about before we get some questions in. Those of you that are in here now, post your questions and we'll get to them. I lost my chat. Awesome. Great. All right. There it is. Yo, what's up, brother? Hope you're great. So let's talk about HCG and finding the dose. Like, this is such a fucking touchy subject for people, and I think it's also a touchy part of people's protocol because, like, the wrong dose of HCG, particularly skewed in the direction of being higher or too high of a dose of HCG, and then you have estrogen-induced boner problems, right? Too low HCG or not enough HCG, then you have what is ultimately a state of excessive androgens and maybe not enough intratesticular estradiol. And then you've also got a severe shutdown of the testicles, which isn't a good state for sexual function either. So the middle ground is what people need to find with HCG. Yes, this does have to do with your test dose, right? I mean, the higher your test dose is, the more you're going to aromatize, even if you're pretty lean and you treat your body well. So if you find an HCG dose and you'd rather just stick with it, you might have to lower your test dose. But, the general recommendation for HCG is 250 every other day, 250 IU every other day. Now, not saying that's perfect, right? It is the case for some people that 100, 125 IU, as to not push it past this level where fucking estrogen gets mucked up and then, you start having sexual function problems, might be better. 100, 125 IU every day. And then you just got a pretty streamlined, stable bit of HCG, not a lot. I mean, the studies on this, there was actually like a case study done by the head MD from Defy Medical where 250 IU of HCG lasted not even 24 hours, right? But 500 IU HCG lasted like 72 hours in the blood. You could actually measure the milli international units per milliliter of HCG in the blood. So, again, 250 IU every other day is a great starting point, but you might need to go a little less than that and do it daily so you don't have spikes in what is ultimately Leydig cell induced aromatization. It's not just the test. Yeah, you put HCG in your body, you produce more estrogen as a separate mechanism from the aromatization of testosterone into estradiol. All right, so just going to stimulate estradiol separately of that, independent of that mechanism. So it's just something for people to keep in mind. You find the fucking right dose of that shit, along with the right dose of testosterone for you, and you're going to have a happy time. You will spend a lot of time in a frustrated state, just straight frustrated, brother, if you can find the right dose of HCG. So it's very important for people to find that. Let's talk about Proviron with tests real quick. Yeah, listen, along the lines of estrogen being just slightly out of range for people or slightly above their range where the sexual system specifically works, Proviron is a great intermediary to get in the middle of that, especially for people that can't tolerate AIs because they have joint pain or it takes the estrogen too low too quick and they're fucking sensitive to that. There are people for whom that's the case. Proviron 6.25 I've seen every other day, 12.5 a day, 25 a day. It depends on how you aromatize, but if you need to bump the estrogen down just a little bit or just have a little less estradiol kind of commensurately rising with test, then low dose Proviron probably not going to nuke your hair, probably not going to nuke your hair. And it doesn't even need to be taken every day. Right? Because if you take Proviron, it's got a 12 to call it 15-hour half-life. And for 12 to 15 hours, you have some degree of inhibition of aromatase, which Proviron will do at some very minor level. That is enough for some people just to get a little bit of estrogen reduction every other day. Then they're in their fucking zone, man. Then they're in their zone. So just something to think about. Trying to think if there's anything else relevant with me. Not really. I'm almost definitely going to cycle off of the sports TRT. It's doing literally nothing for me compared to actual TRT regarding anabolism. I'm not any stronger in the gym. I don't feel any more energized. It's just one of those things. For me, 560 was the last cycle I ran where I actually was able to put on some mass. Maybe I'm different than other people. Who knows? Some people go on 200 and fucking put on loads of muscle. I'm not like that. So we'll see how that goes, brother. But in the meantime, I think we should get to some questions. Proviron Goddess here. What's up, bro? No, never tried D-ball. No, as far as I know, it's pretty estrogenic, right? I mean, that's one of the things that I think it's very anabolic as far as I can tell, but being estrogen, yeah, you can tolerate it more than most people. I mean, I can tolerate high estrogen too. I feel completely fine. It's just my dick goes south at a certain level with estrogen. So that's one of those, it's no bueno, as our boys down south would say. Brother, but no, I've not tried that. My opinion on Proviron with low SHBG is probably not going to lower it all that much more from wherever it is. Yeah, my SHBG clocked in at 12 last time, and you would consider that low, right? It's just on that fucking borderline, but I feel fine, and nothing is awry whatsoever. I think if you're in the single digits, potentially that'd be a problem. Potentially. Sometimes it isn't, though. You're going to see these norms from TRT channels like low SHBG means you should inject more frequently or means this or that. And then you see, if you coach enough people, you see that it doesn't align with what people say, doesn't align in real life. Yeah. You got high SHBG people that, they're supposed to need to take a lot more tests, and they're taking 120 a week and one shot and feel fucking great. So I don't think you'd run into that much of a problem unless you're already in the single digits, at which point, yeah, tread lightly. Maybe use an AI instead of Proviron. Sam, curious about my potential take on the Finasteride ban. I was unaware that there was a Finasteride ban or a potential Finasteride ban. Can we Google that? Can we live Google that right now? Really? I mean, look, hold on. This is the first I'm hearing of it. It was banned by WADA in 2025. Used as a masking agent for steroid abuse. Maybe because it lowers DHT, so you can't tell. Ban was lifted. I don't know if there's any. I don't know if you're talking about the WADA thing, if you're talking about something else. But I can tell you what. I mean, the truth about Finasteride is look. I mean, there were fucking lawsuits against Merck for basically them skewing the data purposefully, knowing that it led to suicidal ideation and hardcore sexual dysfunction in men, and them skewing that fucking data. They had to be taken to court and sued for many millions of dollars. And ultimately the class action lawsuit, the people involved in it won. I should tell you something, right? For them effectively downplaying, the negative side effects of inhibiting DHT. Those of us tuned into our bodies, tuned into this industry, tuned into hormones in general, know it's a fucking bad idea to inhibit DHT. You don't do that. If you're going to go bald, you grow a fucking beard, you figure out how to get your body in shape, and you go bald. That's it. Very few, generally speaking, people have the MPB gene. You know it if you're 26 and balding, but, I mean, if it's androgen induced, maybe look at that or otherwise, but don't take Finasteride. But no, I'm not aware of this. Maybe you have to clue me in if there's something other than the WADA thing going on. I would love to see that, read into it if it's something. Zachary Chas? Yeah, bro, I was wondering why my 3 pumps test cream wasn't feeling great. Haven't taken HCG in weeks. Yeah, could be it. I mean, HCG does backfill some other hormones, so it is useful, but also on the sexual system. If I go too long without HCG, my erection starts suffering too. If the HCG dose is too high, the erection starts suffering, right? So it's sort of the same thing as too low estrogen, too high estrogen, right? So just something for folks to consider. There are a subset of individuals for whatever fucking reason that can tolerate no HCG. I'm not sure how that's working, but maybe they're maybe at a low enough TRT dose, or they're still producing a little bit of luteinizing hormone and FSH. Hard to say without looking at their bloods. Said, what a name. What's your name? Oh, Joey Michael Johnson. Yours? Said. Like ice. Are you an ice cold fucking killer? Said. 8 weeks on TRT, 200 milligrams to trying to dial in. Last bloods, free T was 35. Okay, that's below range if we're talking about the same typical range here. And total was just under 1,000. E2 is 28. Yeah, we must be talking about different ranges. Just ordered total T free estradiol, free T4, blah blah blah. Okay, I don't know if there's a question there. There's not. Dylan. Labs came back with low ferritin. Okay. Wondering how to get up without pushing hematocrit higher. That's a tricky one because, I mean, probably you have been giving blood, right? Donating blood. That's the only thing that really causes that. You're donating blood and your ferritin is going low. So might want to consider not doing that, and instead, to try to control hematocrit, take high doses of naringin. It will work. Just got to be careful because it potentiates other drugs, namely PD5 inhibitors, that could lower your blood pressure too quickly. Other than that, I mean, honestly, eat more meat in the meantime, but do take naringin so that you can lower actual hematocrit, and that shouldn't fuck with your ferritin all that much. It's just giving large amounts of your blood is going to lower your ferritin. Isn't great. Said, gym is great, but libido isn't there. So you're on total T is about 1,000. E2 is 28. Maybe your estrogen needs to be a little higher, you know? I've seen a lot of these over the years, but I got one guy in particular that we recognized on 300 a test a week. It's 150 milligrams of cypionate injected every 3.5 days. Guy needs to be at 40, 45. Yeah, when he's at 20, when he clocks in at 28, you know, shit starts going south. So, yeah, the idea that the need for estradiol scales as you have more testosterone is correct up until about 65 plus picograms per milliliter, after which the wheels are going to fall off the bus no matter what. Hair Cafe made a vid about Finasteride, I want to say, probably, right? I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he's the first one to go on there and say that, you know, they're wrong. We've already proven Hair Cafe wrong with the documentary, among other things. So that guy's in his own land. Still has the right to post content. And, you know, he does help people who end up not having side effects on Finasteride. So, you know, there's that other side to it. But, yeah, I wouldn't suggest anyone touch this shit. Doctor for Joe B prescribed tadalafil for post-Accutane. Yeah, I mean, you're going to need hormones as well. Look, yeah, optimizing vasodilation in the penis will be helpful via Cialis, but you'll need hormones for that as well. I mean, you're inhibiting DHT with Accutane. That's part of the problem. That's another one of these drugs that gives people these syndromes. I've had them as clients, man. Dylan, thyroid panel was good also. Head and face feel very heavy about 5 to 6 hours after applying the cream. What could this be? Yeah, this tends to happen with cream if you're not used to it. I think there's a couple mechanisms. I actually think it's DHT. Yeah, I think it's DHT rising and your body's just not used to that shit. DHT can have a lot of profound effects on neurotransmitters. And, you know, that might put you in like a highly catecholaminergic state where adrenaline specifically is just firing out of control, and your brain has to balance that out over time, which it does. I'll tell you what, like, you know, each time after not running DHT gel, the high potency shit, and then running a lot of it at once suddenly, like I do, you know, I feel a little bit of that for brief periods. Also in the beginning of TRT, the very beginning of TRT, I felt this sort of thing. I had some head pressure and some weird shit. It just all eventually went away. Do I think men need to supplement progesterone? Fuck no, I don't. Fuck no, I do not think men need to supplement with progesterone. No, I definitely do not. Yeah, look, if you study how, you know, males are differentiated from females in the womb, progesterone makes you female. Yeah, DHT, it's actually 5-alpha reductase converting tests from your mother's HCG into DHT that makes you a man and prevents progestogenic action from making you a woman. So I do not think men need to supplement progesterone. I think it'd be a bad idea. Zachary, can even a low dose of Proviron temporarily clash SHBG for a prolonged period of time? No. Nope. No, and no. If you're having some symptom from low dose Proviron, it's something else. This is not possible. It binds to the SHBG with a 5x more affinity than DHT itself. But, 24 hours, it's completely out of the system, not affecting sex hormone binding globulin anymore. Yeah, can't stay there forever. DNAV, 60 milligrams of prop daily. Strong dose there, brother. I've been there. Feels good. Had me at 1700. I was at trough. 118 estradiol, 11 hours after injection. So that's pretty much as it's peaking. You might have a higher reading of both of these at hour 13, 14, 15 to 18 time frame. But okay, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, in this case, it's a little strange because 118 estradiol should not come from 1700 total. No. Yeah. about 4,000 total tests. My estrogen was 92. This is as high as it got. So 118 at 1,700. You're aromatizing a little more than you should, bro. DNAV has since lowered to 40 milligrams a day, trying to get the E2 in check. Yeah. Yeah, that's you on 60. I mean, it'll certainly go lower at that point. You might, I mean, if you want to run those high levels of test, first you have to figure out why you're aromatizing so much, fix that, and you'll have a lot better of a time. But secondly, might just need to bite the bullet and use an aromatase inhibitor. Plenty of guys do. All right. Mr. Blacklight. Hello. 210 milligrams test prop. Had my test at 1438. But 280 a test prop. With 140 a Masteron, had my test at 1353. Literally everything else in my protocol is the same. So more test prop ended you with a lower test number. Did you test it at the same exact time? That'd be my first question. Secondarily, perhaps Masteron was occupying the AR and modifying blood levels of test at some level. I'm not sure. Was it a different injection method, different injection site? These things could matter. I don't really have thoughts on that other than, was it bad UGL prop the second time around? Who knows? But importantly, did you test it at the same time? Are Racetams, go get it, asks, a good nootropic? Fucking the best. They're the best. They're the most, listen, Aniracetam, oxiracetam, and piracetam are the most studied nootropics on the planet besides like Bacopa monnieri. Yeah, they're the most studied. I mean, there's a study of like elderly people taking 1,600 milligrams of oxiracetam for 12 to 16 months or some long duration of time. Zero liver toxicity, zero side effects, only improvements in their memory and cognitive function. They're the most studied. Doesn't mean they don't come without side effects. You take too much, you deplete acetylcholine temporarily because it kind of accelerates your brain's metabolism of it or usage of it, then it's a fucking problem. Men's B says progesterone is great and fixed my sleep. Yeah, progesterone tends to end up ultimately inhibiting 5-alpha reductase. It just is a boner killer for a lot of guys that take it. Yeah. And it's that there more so than estrogen is a predominantly female hormone, and you don't want a lot of it. You want enough. Not a lot though. Dar Fitness, happy Thursday to you as well. Brother. What's your question here? Happy Thursday. Obviously, there are different governments. What? But why are things like DHEA illegal in Canada? But I could buy it at Walmart the other day. Yeah. Same with vitamin D in California. California? Yeah, they can't buy greater than 1,000 IU. Well, I'd say this first and foremost. I hope I'm about to piss some fucking liberals off. California's a stupid fucking state. They have stupid fucking rules. Come on. I just saw an interview with Gavin Newsom, and this conservative guy was interviewing him. Newsom is an absolute, I'm sorry, he's just a fucking tard. But and California is loaded with those. So I don't know. Regarding Canada, I mean, look, DHEA is actually a pretty potent hormone. Doesn't mean it should be illegal. It shouldn't be. I don't think it should be. But it's a pretty potent hormone. When, I'm always more horny than any other time of the day in the morning after I take my DHEA. Yep. Like on the way to the store, at the store, sitting out in my car reading emails for 20 minutes, which is something I often do. I'm like horny because of the DHEA. It just bumps up whatever level of libido I have, for a few hours. Too much though, and you convert to a lot to estrogen and some to DHT. So be careful, brother. Dream big. Feel best at 150 a week of testosterone. But when I run Masteron, I take testosterone down to 100 and replace the 50 milligrams with Masteron to feel good. Do that then. Absolutely. I don't think that like ongoing use of Masteron is a bad idea. I don't. Actually, if you compare DHT itself with all the DHT derivatives and to try to find the one that's most similar, I think it would be Masteron. Yeah. I mean, Proviron's close, but what Proviron doesn't do is antagonize estrogen receptors, which DHT does, at least post receptor binding, and Masteron does as well. It's very fucking close. It's just more anabolic. You metabolize it differently. It stays around long. So if you run 100 milligrams a week of test and 50 a Masteron and you're good, fucking run it. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal, dude. Yeah. You have 100 milligrams a week of testosterone, but then you don't have anything else aromatizing. You have a non-aromatizable androgen here. It's wonderful. Some people have to do that. AA crosses, have I ever run in a marathon? No, but I did get asked last year, whatever, the Pittsburgh marathon, to run in the marathon. Like, this girl asked me, I'm like, yeah, sure. Fuck no. Like 26 miles. Why would anyone want to do that ever? Just so I can have to down 5 grams of sodium and like 5 Gatorades and then eat 4,000 calories after and have sore everything for 3 weeks. No thanks. No thanks, brother. I mean, also, if you have any degree of muscle mass, it's harder to run. Yeah, I'm in a cut phase now. I'm just shedding body fat that I had on the last little bit. And it's so much easier to run just dropping 7 pounds. You know what I mean? 7 pounds of fat or 5 pounds of fat, whatever it is. So, it's after 3 miles, I'm like, all right, I've got the cardiovascular workout. I feel good. I'm done. The longest I've ever run was probably 15 miles after the military. I ran a lot in the Army, obviously, and then post the Army, I kept running, and I would do these 15-mile runs, and they fucked me up, dude. I mean, everything hurt. I ate too much to compensate. It was not particularly great. I mean, I know runners, dude. I had this one friend who was a runner, would run 20 fucking miles, and all she did was eat sweets in order to feel normal, because she'd burned so much glycogen and glucose and shit. And she was as skinny as a fucking rail, dude. She was like sickly looking. Not for me, brother. Alan Gregory is talking to Dylan. Ferritin was 3. Holy fuck. Not good, brother. Not good. Zachary, when 3 pumps of cream starts to not suit you or feel the effects waning perhaps, what other ester do you like to switch to? I think you ought to figure out why that's happening. I think you mentioned that you had not taken HCG for a while, so you probably want to bring that in. 3 pumps of cream a day is a pretty good dose. If it's 200 milligram per milliliter cream, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, man. You're going to peak at between 800 and 1300 total tests. Your free test is going to be slightly above range, almost definitely, and that estrogen is just not going to be that high. Not going to be that high if you give it enough time. If you're coming from a high dose fucking anything, estrogen will take about a couple weeks to a month to go down. It lags behind. Unless you take an AI and you superficially get it down, it's going to take some time. But yeah, I mean, what you probably want to do if it's, I don't know what the effects you're running into are, so I couldn't really give you much advice. Maybe go down to 2 pumps, maybe do 2 and 2, maybe go to 4 pumps at a time. It all depends on, you got to find what works for you. Alan got some iron infusions, and that's another way that you could get ferritin up, get some iron infusions for sure. You could take iron, but it's, if your stomach is going to hurt taking iron pills. So you got to dose little bits at a time and shit, but it will get your iron up, your ferritin rather, and your iron. Best time to do labs after cream, depending on what you're trying to figure out. The peak on testosterone is between 2 and 4 hours. The peak on DHT is between 5 and 7 hours. So, those would be the times to see the peak. The troughs are the next day before you apply it. Best supplements on tapering off kratom. This is a hard one. I really can't suggest it because I think a lot of people are going to want to shoot for other opioid receptor agonists. I don't think it's a good idea because you just you're staying in the same vicious circle of wanting, those receptors stroked. So I couldn't really give you an answer there, man. Honestly, nootropics have been, in my coaching experience, one of the best things for people. Bromantane, even modafinil, Racetams, anything cholinergic, because you kind of need brain stimulation and energy in those states. That's what I'd be suggesting. At the same time, fucking TRT will help you substantially to get right off that shit. David Grimes, hello, brother. What do you think about taking Proviron sublingually instead of orally? Well, listen, I think anything taken sublingually is going to be a little more potent, right? A little more potent. It's going to hit you a little quicker, and the effects will probably be a little more pronounced. So, hey, do it and see what you think. Notice no effects at 25 a day. Interesting. I was wondering if that was why. No, it is very powerful orally. If you're noticing no effects, I think we have to break down what that means. Effects on what? energy, sexual function, whatever. What is it? You might be overshooting and it's taking your estrogen down too low. I think there is a lot of things that could be, wrong here. Alan, Ryan, big shout out. Source List is the bomb. Source List to get you everything you fucking want. It's actually pretty succinct, but it gets you everything you need, man, and more. Those sources have changed. I hate to sound like Tony Robbins here, but they kind of changed my life, man, because there's just shit that I need sometimes, depending on what experiment I'm running or what fucking cycle or whatever, that like you can't get from your clinic, man. You can't. And if you want to try DHT gel at 20% potency, which no one has, there's one company that makes it. You can't get this from pharmaceutical companies. You got to get it from the source list. Well, you can do it. Same thing with like needing to run some Masteron prop, man, because you don't like taking AIs or the estrogen's a little high. You got to figure out a diet protocol in. You need a little more anabolism. You need a base of testosterone and then a non-aromatizable androgen with it. Source list, bro. Will we see the TRT clinic in the next few years? Yes, you will see it in the next few years. Yep, 100%. 100%. At least at this stage. Things can change. At this stage, my brain is 100% going to do an HRT clinic. Yeah, an HRT clinic. It's going to be Pittsburgh-based, but we'll have licenses to prescribe to every state in the United States. It's going to take some time, but working on the preliminary shit right now. It's going to be one of the biggest clinics in the country. Yeah, because we're, one of the only channels, one of, I'd say, 6 good channels talking about TRT and stuff. So that'll help a lot, I'm sure, to move people over to the clinic because it'll be my clinic. Am I active on Twitter, Reddit, forums, trash THT? Not much YouTube content on this side from you. Twitter, I actually found a lot of people talking about DHT and benefits worth checking out. Yeah, the Alpha Gels people are on Twitter. And then some of their anecdotals are on Twitter. But yeah, Reddit forums do trash DHT to an extent. Look, most of those guys are on Tress lists, Tress lists and other hair loss forums. So their perspective is going to be skewed in favor of hating on DHT because they fucking lost their hair or they're losing their hair, and that's just how it goes. Every now and then, like there are some hair loss forums though. I forget which one it is. It's not Tressless. Tressless is kind of anti-DHT. But there's some hair loss forums where guys, you come in there with that anti-DHT shit and they're going to be like, fucking get out of here. Go back to Hair Cafe's channel. Alan's got Accutane syndrome. I'm sorry. 200 milligrams test E a week, 100 milligrams cream daily. E2 is 40 DHT. Good erections or shit without Cialis and Viagra. Well, at least you can get them with Cialis and Viagra. Some people can't, even on those drugs with, sort of PAS, if you will, or PFS-like syndrome. What I would suggest is that you manage a way to get your estrogen to 30 and try doing it without an AI. Yeah, which means, that test will probably go down to 120, 130, 150. Keep the cream the same. I bet that'll change the situation. Dream big. When people get erection problems from pregnenolone, is this due to an increase in progesterone? I would wager so. Yeah, I would wager so. Yeah, I would wager that's a plausible mechanism for this. Order 66 Brother PJ. Great name, brother. Thanks for the super chat. Hey, Ryan, I'm looking to restart TRT after 1.5 years that you've been off. So you were on 5 years, went off cold turkey, and recovered to 380. Congrats. I'm just joking. I bet you feel like dog shit. Had anxiety on daily sub-Q with Test A. Well, you shouldn't do daily sub-Q if you have anxiety on it. That's not a, endocrinologically prescribed or suggested way of injecting long ester testosterone. It's not made for everyday sub-Q injection. Some people don't metabolize that shit well. You're injecting it into extravascular tissue, which means you don't have blood vessels to take it where it needs to go. It's why it's meant for the muscle. And that could do that. That could do that. If I were you, I'd be injecting with frequency, boys. The most frequent you want to inject a long ester is every other day, but it's got to be enough test. You got to be on at least 200 milligrams a week. You could probably make 170 work, but at least 200 milligrams a week would be my suggestion, because then you can inject 50 to 60 milligrams every other day, and that usually is fine as long as you're getting enough test. And of course, you manage estrogen if you have to. But going back on TRT, don't go to daily sub-Q. don't do that. You're one of those people that don't respond to it. There are plenty of those. I know Reddit likes to gaslight people about this, but yeah, people don't respond to that. Some people do not. Ryan, trying to dial in estrogen and bouncing between single digits and 90 plus. That's a pretty intense fluctuation there, brother. And middle swing, waiting to feel good, but no luck. Any suggestions? You have to find the right dose of probably aromacin and the right frequency of aromacin, because the fluctuations are more mild. It just the way that it reduces estrogen is kind of in a more controlled manner versus Arimidex, which nukes it pretty fast. And then of course there's letrozole, which is like, we're just going to drop a fucking nuclear bomb on you there. I wouldn't touch that stuff at all. But so, yeah, you probably want to use aromacin with this. And if you fail at that, the problem with dialing in AIs is it may take 2 to 4 months because you have to have multiple iterations of finding a frequency. If you're going twice a week, 6.25 aromacin, well, I mean, you're going to need 2 weeks at least to see if that's working. Unless right away it just kills your dick and right away it's not working, it's taking estrogen too low. But then you got to try 6.25 once a week and you got to run that for 2-3 weeks. If all else fails though, and you give it enough time, use Masteron, Primo, or Proviron. These DHT derivatives that have properties, whether they're metabolizing into intermediaries that inhibit the aromatase enzyme, or they themselves inhibit the aromatase enzyme. They inhibit estradiol. Jay Gosh is asking about a breakdown on Cordyceps. I believe this was years ago that I did the deep dive on this, but I believe it is a mild D2 receptor agonist, which I think it would wane in comparison, or it just doesn't really compare to heavy D2 agonists like cabergoline or bromocriptine or pramipexole, but it will agonize the D2 receptor a little bit. Yeah. Would I try injectable DHT if given the opportunity? If a reputable company had it, because I don't want to make it. I've already made DHT gel. It wasn't a pain in the ass, but it was, it took a little work. The first batch I basically fucked up, so I had to make the second one. And it worked. But if it was easy, sure. I think DHT, the DHT gel that I made wouldn't go without it. I don't dose it every day because it starts antagonizing estrogen and giving me low E stuff. But when everything's good and there's enough HCG, there's enough aromatizable androgen, that shit's fucking awesome for everything. Sexual system, mood. It's the best pre-workout man could ever ask for. So yeah, I would. Zachary, Merrick wouldn't prescribe me 0.025 milligrams of Arimidex because they don't believe in AIs or E2 control. Does the Sourceless have it? Yes, Sourceless has every AI you can think of. Yep. Including DHT derivatives, which, act as AIs. I've heard that this is a problem. Listen, I'm not going to bash Merrick. Everybody has their own ideology. Is it a good idea to be consulting men on TRT and to blanket say that none of them should use an AI? Practically speaking, no, that's not a good idea. I'm not sure what their logic for that is, but I feel your pain and I've heard that before. I've got some name ideas for the clinic. Just got to throw them around more in my head and figure out what really is going to stick. 10K IUs a week of HCG, perfect dosage. I'd be aromatizing to the moon. 250 every day. My estrogen goes up 20 points on top of what it would have been without the HCG. So that's not bad, but that might take you over. Dream Big is asking, run a gram of Mucuna with modafinil replace dopamine, or does Mucuna on days that you take off modafinil? A gram is a lot of Mucuna. Yeah, it's a lot to run. You'll make more dopamine with that, and yeah, modafinil kind of depletes it. I'd say temporarily. It's a good idea to run Mucuna with modafinil either the day after or the day of. Just have to find your dose. BEP. Love that name. BEP. Currently doing daily cypionate injections. Why? I mean, whatever. Maybe it works for you, but also, why? 140 a week. Well, that's not bad because then you're doing 20 milligrams a day. You know, that works for some people. My test dropped from 1184 when I was doing 3 injections per week to 670 now. Yeah, I feel like crap. Estrogen always comes around 58. So yeah, I've seen these cases too. I have them all over the place. I did a video about it where we have a spreadsheet showing this. A guy went to sub-Q, his estrogen went up and his test went down. This isn't everybody, but this is not good. This is not good at all. So, you go back to 3 injections a week, doing intramuscularly, better yet, twice a week. If you could manage 70 milligrams every 4th day, and take just enough HCG to keep the testicles functional, maybe you don't need any at all, you'll be dialed in and you'll have great erections and stuff. I'm hearing the cerebral lysin discontinued. That sucks. I haven't looked into it. I still have some left over. It's just something I haven't used in a while. Yeah, source list is what you got. That's it. And I'm vetting more UGLs, but I got to try their shit. I've got to have clients try their shit to add more. But there is sufficient amount of everything you can think of on the source list. My SHBG was 12 last time I tested, no problems. Mario, it's a him. Mario. Ryan, have you ever covered how to treat the neurological symptoms of PFS? Usually DHT itself fixes those problems. Yeah, usually DHT. At the same time, I mean, if you're androgen deprived for a long time, which is you are in these cases, and you have next to no estrogen, then estrogen tends to really help your mood too via serotonergic modification. So, I mean, hormones are always the way in these cases. You can't just... I mean, you could take some nootropics and they'll help, but you can't be like, to fix some neurological issue, let me take a lithium orotate or something. It's just, you need the hormones, man. You need the hormones. Can I do a deep dive on Masteron? Stuff makes me my mind feel awesome. Yeah, it does. And perhaps I haven't used it a whole lot. I don't need a lot of it. It's really fucking powerful for me. Like, I mean, the aromatase action on it, basically lowering estradiol is strong. Like, I mean, 20 milligrams and I notice it. So I got to be a little careful with Masteron. But I mean, some people swear by it, dude. Swear by it. Like, it just keeps their dicks hard on high levels of androgens, and it keeps them very anabolic as well. They look good. They feel great. Yeah, one of the reasons it makes you feel this way is because it's stroking the androgen receptor similarly to DHT. How DHT strokes the androgen receptor, man. It's potent. It stays there longer. It activates it harder. And that DHT feel is the masculine feeling, but also it modifies dopamine in the brain, probably energy turnover. I'm telling you, DHT itself, so the high potency DHT gel I made, it's 20%. It's the best pre-workout I've ever taken. I'll rub 2 milliliters. I actually literally look at my arm. I literally shaved my arm right here, my forearm, for that DHT to absorb there. Okay, I shaved both of my fucking forearms. 20% DHT gel before the gym is the best pre-workout I've ever taken. And that's why Masteron does that, because they're very similar compounds in the way that they, affect the ARs and the brain and stuff. Any other questions, boys? Listen, everything at livecortex.com is 20% off. The code for that is in the description. That includes the source list. Those of you needing to get it, it's 20% off. Go buy it. The code's in the description. You need coaching with me, ongoing. Those are largely for sexual function issues, whether on androgens or otherwise. Most people are using androgens at some level, trying to fix it. 20% off. I mean, some of those packages, they cost a lot of money, right? It's a lot of work and a lot of time. Saving 20% on those, I hope that makes a difference for some people to actually do it. Spring's coming, and April is our busiest month in coaching. I will be fucking booked come April. So if you need to get on board, get on board. What else is going on with me? Yeah, listen, I've been on 300 milligrams of test a week the last 6 weeks. I have noticed almost no additional anabolism from where I was. Now, granted, I'm not willing to eat like a bodybuilder. I just can't do that. But, I ran 500 a test, 560, and I definitely started growing then. So, I'm almost definitely just going to go back to TRT doses and prep myself, run another barrage of blood work, and then go back up to 560, maybe with some Anavar or something. I mean, when people, this is why I chuckle a little bit when people go like, guy goes, oh, I'm having side effects at 200 milligrams. And then like some fucking mindless slave on Reddit goes, that's a cycle. 200's not a cycle. 300's not a cycle. 500 steroid cycle, but mid-level. 700, you're getting up there. A gram a week. Yeah. 500 a test, some Masteron Supremo, cycle. 300 milligrams a week. I don't think so, man. I got guys it's just TRT for them. Which DHT test should I choose? Just regular DHT, just dihydrotestosterone. I don't know if there's a sensitive for that. I don't think so. Each time I've tested it, it's just been regular DHT test. Oleg, how much DMSO was in my formula? This last time I made a lot of it, so oh man, I would say 6 milliliters, but I also put 246 grams of DHT. And fuck, man, was it 16 milliliters of aloe vera? I don't remember. You have to ask ChatGPT that. Like if you're trying to find a particular concentration. No, there's no DHT test that should be avoided. They're all pretty much the same. S. Gill, I'm doing 100 milligrams, 150 of test with Deca. Okay, what's your Deca dose there? Just curious. 500 IU HCG 3 times a week. All my markers are dialed in, no issues. Great. Test 500, estradiol 28. I don't understand this. Your test is 500 total test? 500 total test? Yeah, I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure what you're saying here. Trevor, after listening to the infamous Danny Bossa for years, thanks for turning me back to AI. It's feeling much better and hard to dial in. Again, you don't want to make blanket statements regarding TRT. This is why, it troubles me to hear that Derek's clinic is not, into managing estrogen. Maybe they'll just lower your dose, and in that case, they're right. But some people are going to need higher levels of androgens and to manage estrogen simultaneously. And, the idea that that again, it's ideology that drives these people to say, optimize the thyroid, optimize this, optimize that. These systems work in harmony and your body will take care of itself. No, it fucking won't. You are the thing in the middle there, injecting exogenous hormones. No, it fucking won't. It's not. It's even for people that are real healthy with no insulin problems, man. Sometimes a lot of this there's so many things it's based on. Being hypogonadal for a while, being sensitive to estradiol's prolactin-inducing effects. Some people are more sensitive than others to that. Other unknown things. Lack of nocturnals for a while, which induces penile fibrosis, which estrogen makes worse by depositing fucking adipocytes into your corpus cavernosum and destroying the smooth muscle cells in the presence of not enough androgens. Dude, the literature is so fucking clear on all this. I just, some of these people, this is one of the reasons I think Danny has not done content. Because, while their suggestions or his suggestions on never manage estrogen, just have the right test dose and maybe bring the test dose higher and all that, does work for some people. Not fucking everybody, though. And Danny was so, what's the word? He was like, he just wanted to fight people, it seemed like, about it. And you never get popular that way, and people end up not liking you that way. So a guy stopped posting content. I'd love to have him on the channel because I'm sure his position has changed on this. And if not, maybe it's the same. But, I'll have people that have counter positions to me, and I've had them. Me and Dave Lee don't agree on everything. I don't even think me and Vigorous Steve agree on everything. But, we're still friends. Zachary, have you ever had such high DHT from cream alone? Yeah, the cream put the DHT above range. I wouldn't say it was crazy. It was supraphysiologic, though. That I had to increase estrogen only in the presence of no HCG. Yeah. So that happened when I didn't have HCG and I just had cream. Yeah. But it wasn't, I just needed a little bit of HCG, just a slight bit of estradiol, nothing crazy. Do I run Neurontin regularly? Right now, 220 every other day. Yeah. When I go back down to TRT, which is soon, I'm not seeing shit on the cycle. It's not a cycle. It's 300 milligrams a week, and I respond differently to tests and other people. But yeah, when I go back down to TRT, I will feel no need to manage hematocrit at all. So, When I go to a real proper cycle, though, a 560 plus, then I will run Naringin. Absolutely. Yeah. So Gil is total test is, so you're doing Deca only at 150. Is that what I understand? Okay. Just be careful. Just be careful here. At least you have enough tests because, you're aromatizing, I guess, enough here. But, the whole Deca D, the penis problems with Deca-durabolin, it's not just exclusively low estrogen. It's progestogenic, among other things. It's got some interaction with dopamine and potentially prolactin. So there's much more than just lower E, because there are people, I've had people come to me with this problem and they were doing what you're supposed to do, meaning they were taking enough tests and taking Deca, and they still ended up with fucking erectile dysfunction. So other shit going on here, brothers. Hope you're well, brothers. Hope you're ready for the spring. I don't know where you guys are, but here in Pittsburgh, it's getting there. We're 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 getting close to the spring. The spring. I mean, today's the 20th. I think officially spring is like in 3 days. So, yeah, no, I mean, we've had 60-degree days, 70-degree days. Yesterday was a fucking phenomenally nice day. So, it was, what did I do yesterday? Oh, yeah, I was out with my chick for dinner, for like brunch. And then I went to a meeting later on in the day with some good local people. Just enjoying the weather, man. Can't wait. Can't wait till it's, 75 consistently. Oh, if I take DHT gel, should also try to raise E2. This is going to depend on the person. I got some PFS people who are running HCG with high potency DHT and everything's good. So they have enough of that aromatization to have enough estrogen. It's going to be person dependent. Youssef with the $20 super chat from MAD here. I have PFS. I have intense ED. Will HRT help? 100%. 100%. It's really the only way you get around this. It's the only way that you fix this is with hormones, but you got to find the right protocol for you. You have to determine if you need a non-aromatizable androgen with a little bit of HCG so you have some estradiol to solve your problems and get erections back, etc. You're not going to be all that anabolic on that, but who cares? Take some Anbar for that. But the only way out of these sexual dysfunction syndromes is hormones. It's the only way out. It's the only way out. It's the only way out. Would I consider something like NPPN, so nandrolone something or other, instead of raising testos to get the muscle gains that you wanted? No. I wouldn't take it nandrolone, period. Yeah, no. Nandrolone, it causes too many dick problems, independent of estradiol, etc. There's other mechanisms for that, if that's what you're referring to. I think there are better options. For me, again, on 500 plus a test, I gain muscle easier. Anything lower than that, I get 400, sure. 300, it just takes longer. It's been 6 weeks at 300, and honestly, I'm just about the same strength, and I'm really not seeing anything, significant. The pumps are a little better than TRT and whatever, but that's about it. I never was a responder to like 200 to 300 milligrams the way that some people are. Some people take those doses of testosterone and blow up. Not me, I just need like 500 or so. So last time I ran a cycle of 500, I did great, man. Everything was good after a little manipulation of estrogen. And there I was able to put on some good muscle, and I felt strong. I got stronger, was pushing heavier weight and stuff. So that's what I'll end up doing. If not, it'll just be TRT with some Anavar, because Anavar is fucking powerful for this. Really fucking powerful for that. Really powerful. Brother. We will do another live stream Saturday, so look forward to that. Those of you that are there or like to catch live streams, we have a big comprehensive hour-and-a-half long Q&A Saturday morning, every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time. So be there. I will be there. Content coming this Monday as usual. Pumping out a lot of shorts lately, shorts, just a couple fucking shorts here and there. Because sometimes you just need like a point, and it needs to be real quick, and you just get the point, and you get out of there. So making a lot of those lately. I got this pretty cool software that just synthesizes some of these videos into shorts and, puts all the text in there for you. It's pretty accurate. You got to go change a couple things every now and then, but it's pretty fucking accurate. Otherwise, my life is good, man. I've been happy. The spring is here. I'm really ready for it. Cortex Labs is in a good place as a business. I'm making a lot of progress on people coaching clients, and that makes me fucking happy. You know, I'm just ready for the season, ready for it to be nice over the winter, boys. I'm over it. Moving to Florida starting tomorrow. Moving truck 6 a.m. Moving to Florida. No, I'm just joking. Eventually, though, I'd like to live there 6 months out of the year. Mad for PFS. Would DHT gel on the male organ help with ED induced by PFS? Yeah, it should. It should. Yeah, but I think you need more than that. You know, I think you might want to rub it elsewhere so that you're sure it's going to go systemic. You need it in the brain. I mean, rubbing it on the shaft is going to help erection quality. Probably, it might induce some neovascularization, so that you spontaneously build new blood vessels. It might optimize the thin lining of your blood vessels, so that, you know, you can pump out more endothelial nitric oxide synthase, so you can turn on your arginine into nitric oxide and have better erections. It's going to do all those things, but taking it locally and generally systemically is a good idea. And again, as I said, you need to determine whether or not you need some estrogen too. Like most guys need a little bit, you know, we just need a little bit. And with no aromatizable androgen, you will have none. So usually HCG is a good combo with DHT if you're in this case. Sometimes test though. Sometimes test HCG, little AI, estrogen control. It all really depends on the person. Jay Gotch, what would the frequency from prop to test? For example, I believe you said that you need more prop per week versus the same amount of cypionate. It's not about the feels. It is about anabolism. Yeah, prop for me, I'm just a little less anabolic than a long ester, because long esters sit around longer and they're more anabolic by nature of that, and technically more nitrogen retention. So that's kind of it. But frankly, the energy on prop, I need about 50 milligrams a day of prop, 40, and I'm with my workout routine a little weak. I just feel a little tired at certain points of the day, and I don't love it. Yeah, it's just what I've worked up to over the years of taking prop. Maybe there's a tolerance there. I don't really know, but that's kind of it. So I love prop though. You know, is it perfect for everyone? No. You know, does it fluctuate? Yeah, that's the thing. You know, you got to get pretty steady state if you want the continued benefits. But I'll tell you what, like doing some fringe protocols, like 70 a prop a day and 3 pumps of cream a day, or running that every other day, and I was a walking boner, just a fucking walking erection. Started nuking my hair. As you might imagine. I mean, that's one of the downsides of prop, is it will, you know, especially in high doses. Yeah. A lot more free hormones, man. A lot more free hormones. So, you know, whether you're susceptible or not, you're just going to start nuking your fucking hair. It's just one of those things, but you know, you got to make a decision there. You know, if it's necessary for you to dial in using prop, use prop. You know, if it isn't and you can dial in otherwise, and it gives you hair loss, don't use it. You know, use cream, which will almost definitely not give you hair loss. Yeah, even though it increases DHT a lot. All right, boys, I'm gonna end the stream again. Live stream this Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Be there. We do them every Saturday at 9 a.m. So I will see you guys there. Those are pretty intensive and long. Lots of questions. Lots of people regularly going to that one. I just wanted to do a surprise one. I hadn't done content Monday this week. I was just wrapped up in some shit. So I wanted to kind of surprise you guys and talk shop. Talk fucking shop. Because that's what we do over here. We talk shop. Brother. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. 20% off everything at livecortex.com. The code is in this description of this video. Yeah, that source list, it's the torque stack, it's coaching. We never discount coaching, right? Because it's a lot of time, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of thinking on my end, but it's discounted now, 20% off. Code is down in the description. Love you guys. See you soon. See you Saturday, right? Take care. Have a great night. Bye-bye. 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 All right. Thank you.